Hi BookTube, I'm here today to do my wrap up for June. I read a total of 27 books, hence I'm not going to be able to talk about every single book I read this month, but I will break it down into the genres that I read and then pick out my top 5 favorites of this month. And so of those 27, I read 9 romance books for the summer romance book bingo, and I wanted to create like the bingo card so I could actually show you, cross off what I read, but I just didn't have time to create that, and so because I wanted to make it look nice. So she has like a print off on like a Goodreads page of the squares, and so yeah, I'll plan to do that, and so I'll have it for next month. You can see where I'm at with that. But 9 books is more than I wanted. I wanted to do 7, and so 9, yeah, that's good. And then I read 2 nonfiction, 2 science books, 3 nature, 1 YA, 1 fiction, 2 history, 1 historical fiction, 3 graphic novels, 2 science fiction and fantasy, and 1 mystery. And then of those, I read 7 audiobooks. So 7 audiobooks and 20 physical books or ebooks. And so for my favorites, 3 of them were physical books that I picked up in my local bookstore. And the first one is That Quail, Robert by Margaret A. Stanger. And here's the quail. You can see that on the cover. And this was full of illustrations. Actually, all 3 of the physical books have illustrations throughout the book. So let's see if I can find where they're holding it. And the quail is actually a really small bird. I knew nothing about quails before reading this book. And this is a really sweet story of a couple who live in the New England area. And they find a quail nest in their backyard, and they don't disturb it because they don't want to, because if they touch the eggs, then the parents won't take care of them. So once once the parents and the baby birds leave the nest, they go and want to check the nest and see, just to look at it. And they happen to find 2 eggs. One of them is broken and one of them is whole. So they think, oh, it's not gonna hatch. And so they take it home and they just put it, I think it was on their bookshelf or their kitchen counter, something like that. And then I think it's the next morning or that afternoon, something like that. They hear this noise and they look, and it's actually the little bird is pecking at it, and it hatches, and it turns out to be Robert. It's actually Roberta. It's a girl, but they don't find that out until later. And so I'm trying to find some more pictures. And so and here it is sitting in the center piece. I don't know if you can pick that up. So yeah, they don't find out until later, so they keep the name Robert. But yeah, it was just a sweet story. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I love those nature books where you learn about the animal, but you also learn about how, these, unbeknownst to them, these normal people get these animals, adopt these animals in all different ways. And so along with this one, in a similar vein of a book about animals, is The Daily Coyote, A Story of Love, Survival, and Trust in the Wilds of Wyoming by Sharif Stockton. And this book in particular, I really liked because of all of the pictures. She is a photographer as well as a writer. And so I actually, after reading this book, she has a blog. This book talks about her journey to how she came to Wyoming, because she's from a big city, New York, Seattle, San Francisco. She lived in all 3 of those. But it talks about how she ended up in Wyoming and how she got a coyote. And so anyway, she has a blog, and but she also has an Instagram account. And so I subscribed to her Instagram account, and I've been getting daily coyote pictures along with looking at these really cute pictures. So if you haven't read this book, or you don't want to read this book, if you subscribe to I think it's The Daily Coyote is what the name of it, or Daily Coyote is the name of her Instagram account. And so you can get lots of cute animal pictures on in your feed. Is that what it's called? I don't know technology. And so the last of the physical books or my top 5 favorites that I read, is The Dinosaur Heresies by Robert T. Baker. New Theories Unlocking the Mystery of the Dinosaurs and Their Extinction. And this, the subtitle really explains it, because it's all about how at the time of him writing this book, and his journey through the dinosaur, his scientific studies, dinosaurs were believed to be cold-blooded, like, lizards and crocodiles. And so it's all about how he a lot of it is about him finding information on how they were warm-blooded, and which was like a revelation to all of them, and how it was actually discovered and talked about like in the, I think it was like 1890s or 1880s, but that theory was dropped for the more easier answer of them being cold-blooded. And so this also has illustrations, and the author, drew them, and so this is the author here. I can show that. And then he's an interesting guy, and then let's see if I can show you some illustrations. Because throughout this book, there's depictions of what he's talking about, which I find really helpful. Because I actually have some names, but like there's so many that different names of dinosaurs that I don't know what they look like. So having these illustrations was really nice. Let's see, and then the other two that I don't have physical copies of, which is for this one, it's really hard to say it's a favorite because it's such a depressing book, but it was so well written. And this is The Fall and Rise, the story of 9/11 by Mitchell Zuckoff. And this one was the first book I've read that's solely focusing on 9/11. But yeah, it was really, really well done, and very, very, very depressing. And it's one I just talked about in my weekly wrap up. And so then the last one that's made it to my top 5 favorites is a graphic novel. And this is March, book 1 by, it says John Lewis, Andrew Aiden, and Nate Powell. And this is all about John Lewis. And this he has a series, I think it's between 3 graphic novels. And this one focuses on his childhood mainly. It does, flash forward to him in his office, meeting citizens, but so it has that, but mostly it focuses on his upbringing and his relationship with the church and how he wants to be a pastor, and he's like preaching. What I remember vividly from this is him preaching to these chickens, and so he's pointing at the chickens, and like he really has affinity with them, and so he helps raise them and on this like farm, and so these chickens are like sitting on their nests, roosting, and he's like just like preaching to them like he would to a congregation. So yeah, but this was a really good nonfiction graphic novel. So if you want to like not read a big chunky book on it, then it was very informative, and the art style was really good. It's similar to this cover of how it's drawn. So these are the books I read, or some of the books I read in June. Can't believe June's done. It's just wild. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, book 2.